Hi everyone, Alan from Newlands Nursery. Hope you are well, and today we are sowing tomatoes. So I'm doing this video a little bit early, partly because I need to do it before you're actually gonna sow the tomatoes, otherwise you don't get any benefit from it if I do it afterwards or about the same time you're doing it. So you get to watch the video, learn from it, and then you can copy me and get a fantastic tomato crop next year. So sowing tomatoes in the UK, here at the nursery, we will sow sometimes between Christmas and New Year, if not into January. That's the perfect time to do it, the easiest time to do it, but you're going to need a windowsill, a greenhouse with a bit of heat, or something like that. But they are easy to grow, so definitely try it. Okay, so I'm just using a standard multi-purpose compost, which if you've watched any of my videos, I use for pretty much everything. Partly it's multi-purpose for a reason, and it does the job and we never have a problem with it. It is a good quality compost, so make sure you search out a good quality compost. So I fill the cell tray with the compost, make sure I get rid of any lumps, and as you can see, these are reasonably large cells. The reason I'm using this is if you've ever grown tomatoes, they grow quite quickly and they get quite large, and I don't want to have to pot them up constantly. So I want to pot from here into almost their finished space. So I don't want to constantly do it. That's an element of laziness. You can definitely pot them up in stages. There's no problem with doing that. So I filled it with compost. Let's tap it down, get rid of any air gaps. That helps it sink as well, which will make it easier to water. Then with my trusted tray, I'm going to pour the seed on just like that. Make sure they're all out. Tomato seeds are quite small. They're easier to see on there. If you're really unlucky and you've got a black seed, which I've done before, you can't see them, but these are white, which is good. So all I'm going to do is place them on the surface of the compost. So this is a little cherry tomato, and the seeds tend to be even smaller for those. And I'm just place it on the top. They don't need to be pushed down. You don't want them too deep. Generally speaking, when you're sowing seeds, you want the seeds to be about the same depth as themselves. Tomato seeds are so small, about the depth of themselves is basically nothing. So if you've got a bit of vermiculite, you can cover them up, but we tend to use desiccated compost. So what I'm doing is get my multi-purpose compost, getting rid of any big lumps, and then I'm just gonna gently cover them over just like that, and just until they disappear. Okay. Then all we've got to do is water it. So I'll give it a good water, and then I'll explain where we're going to put it, why I'm watering it. And you'll notice that I water a fair bit, get them nice and wet, because they just germinate best when they're like that. Okay. So I'm actually going to put these in the same house that we germinate chilies, which is going to be fairly warm, about 25 degrees. I'm going to put it might be closer to 20 actually, because I'm going to put it in a slightly cooler spot. So that works really, really well for your general home. The average temperature of most homes is 18, 20 degrees, so they will germinate at that temperature with no issue at all. Sometimes a break from the watering helps. It sinks in, and then you can go back to it. Covering it with a greenhouse lid or plastic bag is absolutely perfect as well. It just helps maintain the moisture. Germination wise, it's going to take anything between, we do actually get tomatoes germinating around about 3 to 4 days, but my guess is you'll be looking around about a week to 2 weeks before they start showing their heads through. If you're growing them in a space to get them to germinate in a space that hasn't got much light, that's the point you're going to need to give them light. So when they start pushing their head through, move them to a windowsill, and then they'll grow much, much better, and they won't stretch as much. It's the lack of light that makes tomatoes stretch. So it's as simple as that. And if you've got any questions at all, obviously get in contact. See you soon.